that song, and the name of the song is Sariyagi.
I know.
That song was from a movie called Mungaru Malay 2. And
This is
that
2015, 2016?
around that time, that song became a rage.
Yeah.
And that just catapulted me to another level in the Kannada industry.
तो बनता है.
Sariyagi, chal. ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೆನಪಿದೆ ನನಗೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರಣ ಕಿರುನಗೆ ಮನದ ಪ್ರತಿಗಲ್ಲಿಯೊಳಗು ನೆನದೇ ಮೆರವಣಿಗೆ ಕನಸಿನ ಕುಲುಮೆಗೆ ಉಸಿರನು ಊದುತ್ತಾ ಕಿಡಿ ಹಾರುವುದು ಎನ್ನು ಖಚಿತ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೆನಪಿದೆ ನನಗೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರಣ ಕಿರುನಗೆ.
Brilliant. We've run out of time, but I have to get you to sing something in Telugu before we finish.
Okay.
So Kannada,
Botta
because
Mamma.
whatever you want to sing.
ఇంతకన్నా మంచి పోలిక ఇది నాకు తట్టలేదు గాని అమ్ము ఈ లవ్ అనేది బబ్లు గమ్ము అంటుకున్నదంటే పోదు నమ్ము ముందు నుంచి అందరన్న మాటే గాని మళ్ళీ అంటున్నానే అమ్ము ఇది చెప్పకుండా వచ్చు తుమ్ము ప్రేమ నా పాలేవు నన్ను నమ్ము ఎట్టగానే ఎదురు చూపుకి తగినట్టుగా నువ్వు బదులు చెబితివే అరే దేవుడా దేంతనేంత లోపటే పిల్లడాంట దగ్గరై నన్ను చేరదీసివే బుట్ట బొమ్మ నన్ను చుట్టుకుంటివే జిందగీకే అట్ట బొమ్మై జంట కట్టుకుంటివే.
Yeah, wow, that's phenomenal. And now you're singing ghazals also. So this is something which you've done for Sanjay Leela Bhansali.
Correct, and it's my very first collaboration with him. And as you know, Sanjay sir is like someone who's musically so inclined. All the albums of his movies have been phenomenal. Yes. This is the first album he has composed called Sukoon. And the first single of it, Ghalib Hona Hai, is one of the songs that I have sung on the album. There's also other songs sung by Shreya Ghoshal, Papon, Madhubanti Bakshi, and a lot of other amazing singers. Ghalib Hona Hai is very special to me because firstly, I love ghazals.
Correct.
But not a lot of people have heard me sing in ghazals.
Yeah.
इश्क तेरी आँखों में लिखा इश्क तेरी आँखों में लिखा पढ़ने दे जरा हमको भी गालिब होना है हमको भी गालिब होना है इन गज़लों सी आँखों में खोना है इश्क तेरी आँखों में लिखा पढ़ने दे ज़रा हमको भी गालिब होना है हमको भी गालिब होना है इन गज़लों सी आँखों में खोना है इश्क तेरी आँखों में लिखा.
क्या बात है. He's Arman Malik on demand. You don't get him like that. I remember him at 2006 in Saregama Little Champs, if I remember correctly. I said, this guy is a spark. And that's when I realized that, Dabu and Jyoti are your parents, and they'll be so proud. They're so proud for what you've done. Continue to shine on like this.
Thank you so much.
And Bharat ka parcham duniya mein le raha ho bhai. That's what we want you to do. All the very, very best.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
Lovely
Thank
speaking to you, and I hope to do more of this with you.
Looking forward. Anytime. Music anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching Brass Stacks. I'm Shivani Gupta. The BJP versus Congress battle is escalating, centered around the Bharat Jodo Yatra and its central message. Today, Mani Shankar Aiyar, senior Congress leader, alleged that it is in fact the BJP and the RSS which are doing tukde of India. New Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge today alleged that Modi and RSS will remove democracy from the country and bring in a dictatorship if not stopped. BJP has hit back, calling this an insult on the public's mandate on India itself. Now, the big question we're asking today is this a new message from the Congress? It certainly is not. Then, will this line of attack work for the Congress party now, ahead of 2024, or as we've seen in the past, only end up strengthening Narendra Modi? More on that in just a bit.
भारत को टुकड़े टुकड़े बनाने वाले ये संघ परिवार के लोग.
Another day, another controversy, courtesy the Congress party. Serial offender Mani Shankar Aiyar is now accusing the Sangh Parivar of dividing the country and is pitching the Bharat Jodo Yatra as a unifier.
धर्म के आधार पर, भाषा के आधार पर, जाति के आधार पर, संस्कृति के आधार पर भारत को टुकड़े टुकड़े बनाने वाले ये संघ परिवार के लोग हैं और उनका जो बुरा काम है उसके खिलाफ ये यात्रा चलाई जा रही है. भारत को जोड़ने की आवश्यकता है. हम तो महसूस करते हैं बहुत उसको टूटने का प्रयास हो रहा है और इसके खिलाफ हम सबको लड़ना है. आपको भी लड़ना है, हमें भी लड़ना है.
The BJP hit back, claiming that it was the Nehru Gandhi family that broke India with partition in 1947.
Congress, which itself is broken, the only time India was broken was at the time of partition, thanks to the Congress party.
It's not the first time that Congress has claimed that the country is being divided. Rahul Gandhi himself has accused the RSS and BJP of spreading hatred to divide India.
The BJP thinks that they can divide this country. This country cannot be divided.
भारत को जोड़ने की आवश्यकता है.
But Mani Shankar Aiyar has been known for making personal remarks against Prime Minister Modi. From claiming that a chaiwala will never become the Prime Minister to calling Modi a neech aadmi.
लगता है कि ये आदमी बहुत नीच किस्म का आदमी है.
So is this just another off-the-cuff remark, or is there any truth to the India is divided claim?
Let's go across to the guests joining us. GVL Narasimha Rao is BJP MP. Mahima Singh from the Congress party joining us. Karan Verma is author and political analyst. So is Surendra Chauhan. I thank you all for your time. Mahima Singh, the BJP is up in arms. The BJP claims that, this is the diatribe that has been coming in from the Congress party for the last 8 years, ever since Narendra Modi became Prime Minister, that you've been spreading this canard that India is going to be broken, India is no longer going to remain a democracy, and the people are not buying this message anymore. Is this not old wine in a new bottle?
Who says that India, Shivani, good evening, that India is not buying that message anymore? Let me just say that the message that we are taking through the Bharat Jodo Yatra is well defined in this kalam of Bashir Badr Sahab very well, aptly. It says, "Saat sanduko mein bhar kar dafn kar do nafratein, aaj insan ko mohabbat ki zarurat hai bahut." Shivani, day after day, week after week, month after month, this party that's called Bharatiya Janata Party, which is filled with, accused of criminal offences like, terrorism. Pragya Thakur, Parvesh Verma is an MP in Delhi. He's not accused so far, but he was warned by the Election Commission. Hate speech after hate speech, criminal offence after criminal offence. Yet there is no action. Yet I don't see enough debate, enough questioning of these leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party on the TV screens, on these TV channels. And I'm sorry to say that in such circumstances, if one is not supposed to raise questions on such a regime, then what is one supposed to do? You have heard what Pragya Thakur has said yesterday. You have heard that she is asking the people to sharpen their knives. She's already out on bail. And she is going out and spreading hate, like that. Hate mongering is only second to the nature of Bharatiya Janata Party members. We've seen crimes after crimes. Yet there is not enough dialogue about that.
Okay.
So yes,
Mahima
I
Singh, the reason I said that the people are not buying it is because I am looking at electoral results. And the reason I'm also asking this question is that from 2016, when Rahul Gandhi said RSS, BJP believe in dividing people, 2018, when Rahul Gandhi said, mind you, on foreign land, BJP, RSS are weakening the country by causing divisions and spreading hatred, to 2022 in September, when he started his yatra, he said BJP and RSS spread hatred. We will not allow their ideology to divide the country. My question to you was more political. I'm not really suggesting whether the Congress is better or the BJP is. My question was that this is not a new message. This is a message that you've been harping on since 2014, since Narendra Modi came to power. Election after election, the BJP is only increasing its footprint, while the Congress has virtually diminished.
I get it. I get it, Shivani. But just because there's been enough clouds, to hamper the radars, doesn't mean that the radars should stop working. Or, Narendra Modi ji's understanding was different, although on that front. But I have to say that just because the lies are overpowering does not mean that the truth will have to be stopped from being spoken out.
Okay.
We'll keep on reiterating what we have been saying. Sarveshwar Dayal Saxena ji in 1949, when Mahatma Gandhi ji was shot, had aptly said, यदि तुम्हारे घर के एक कमरे में आग जल रही हो तो क्या तुम दूसरे कमरे में सो सकते हो? यदि तुम्हारे घर के एक कमरे में लाशें सड़ रही हो तो क्या तुम दूसरे कमरे में प्रार्थना कर सकते हो? यदि हाँ, तो मुझे तुमसे कुछ नहीं कहना है. So those who are still voting for the BJP in spite of the hate mongering, in spite of the mudslinging they are doing in the current scenario of politics in the country today, I am sorry to say that the lines by Saxena ji are being realized today.
But ma'am, are you not effectively condemning the public, the voter that is voting for BJP, when you say that they are communal and their agenda is communal, but they are being voted to power? You are almost alleging that the public is communal, that is voting for them. How is that public ever going to vote for you when you condemn them like this?
Not at all. The amount of false narrative building, the amount of narrative fallacy, in technical terms, let me say, that the BJP has built is just overwhelming. The way they have sabotaged the functioning of institutions in this country. Justice Ramanna said, and not I am saying, the kind of hampering of the media that has happened, and that's what we keep on reiterating. So, on every front, the BJP has actually taken over the democracy, and now they are on, to take the judiciary also. Every day we are seeing that they're.
But there are examples from Congress rule. Emergency, by the way, the only official emergency we've had was imposed by a Congress Prime Minister. And we know why that emergency was imposed, was over a judgment by a court. We know what happened in Shabano case. But anyways, let me go across to GVL Narasimha Rao on the two big messages that have come from the Congress party today. Mr. Rao, the Congress says, one, you are the one who are actually doing tukade of the country. Interesting use of the phrase there by Mani Shankar Aiyar. And secondly, Mallikarjun Kharge today said that you are going to, completely diminish democracy in the country if you continue. And under Narendra Modi, there will be dictatorship soon.
I think it only shows the Congress party's utter frustration. They are trying to peddle this fake narrative for a very long time. Fake projection of an intolerant India began in 2014 in right earnest after Prime Minister Modi ji became the leader of the country. I think they have not learned lessons. It is the Congress party which people of the country are disgusted with. You've never seen public having such great dissatisfaction with the opposition. Prime Minister Modi's ratings today, his approval ratings are among the highest. He's the most popular world leader. He's topped the rankings of the world charts every year. Just the result in Gujarat election clearly shows where the public wind is blowing.
No, so I asked her that question. I asked Mahima Singh that question, that are you then alleging the public is communal and bigoted that when they're voting for the BJP? She's saying you've created this atmosphere where your propaganda runs large, where your narrative runs large. They're only trying to bust that narrative.
No, I think if they don't want to look within for their continuous decline, and if they want to blame the public for their loss, they might as well become extinct very soon. I think good luck to them. The people of this country, I think the country is more than united ever before. The entire country is more peaceful than ever before. Entire northeastern region, which during the years of the Congress seen a lot of insurgency, seen a lot of disaffection, today is feeling very, very, very pro-India. It's feeling extremely proud part of India. You've seen during Congress regime how different sections felt very alienated from India. Today they are experiencing development. Jammu and Kashmir, the Congress, during the Congress regime, they must be ashamed that their leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha asked the government whether government has spoken with Pakistan for removing Article 370. This is their intellect. They need to be first aligned with India's nationality.
Okay.
They
Can I
do
bring in
not
Mahima
have
Singh?
nationalistic fervor at all.
Okay, let her respond, then I'll come back to you. I'll go across to our other guests in just a bit. Yes, Mahima.
I'll respond. The emergency that Indira Gandhi ji, is blamed about
That's
was
a
an
very
announcement.
democratic action. That's what you want to say? That was
let her
for
finish.
public welfare.
Let her finish, then you respond, GVL. Yes.
Some basic discipline, that was an announced one. What about 2016 Uttarakhand? This is a categorical example. There are many more that I can talk about, but I'll just talk about 2016 Uttarakhand. And let me say that he's talking about Modi ji's popularity. What are they making of it? Yes, I agree that there was dissatisfaction around the Congress regime, which is what they have leveraged upon. They have not come to the power.
Dissatisfaction today.
Do not interfere. Please do not interfere. Please do not interfere.
No, but you can't have a monologue here.
One by one,
I'll give
you opportunity, GVL. If both of you speak over each other, then we will not be able to hear either. I'll give you an opportunity, GVL. I'll give you an opportunity, GVL. Let her just respond to you, then I'll give you time.
They're talking about Jammu and Kashmir. The whole country is reminded of the deception PDP had to face at the hands of the BJP, and we remember that how they whether it was good or not abrogation of 370, but the state has not come back to its state of affairs today. And let me give you a small example. This evening I was on a national debate with a BJP spokesperson. She ended up saying that, oh, Rahul Gandhi ji says that India is a union of states and not a country. I mean, this kind of narrative that they built around Rahul Gandhi, around the Congress, it's just a matter of who is facing them to confront their lies and to bust their lies.
But he did say that India is a union of states.
This. What do you mean by? Abrogation of Article 370. Is it bad according to you? Is that the Congress position?
Okay,
no,
respond to that. Mahima
Singh,
the BJP can easily turn around and say that, listen, you talk about uniting India. One of the biggest things that was leading to a not united India was Article 370. They've had the gumption to remove it. Now, if you believe that is not right, then say it. Will the Congress party promise that they will bring it back?
We are just saying we are talking about the deception, Shivani, and about union of states. They want to say that Rahul Gandhi ji is wrong in saying that. There's a government website called knowindia.gov.in. Please go to that website. It's run by the government of India. The first line on that website is that India, a union of states, is a secular, sovereign, democratic republic. Now, is the government wrong if Rahul Gandhi is,
No. Obviously, Rahul Gandhi is not wrong when he says that India is a union of states. But if that implied that it is a union of states and not a nation, then the question arises, to what end?
Who says that union of states is not a nation? And about Jammu and Kashmir, we are constantly asking what is the status quo? Why don't they actually, bring in before the election? Let them make it clear.
But the Congress opposed the abrogation of Article 370. So what is the stand of the Congress party there? That should be made clear to the public. No, let the public then decide whether they want to vote for BJP that doesn't stand for Article 370 or it wants to vote for the Congress party. You opposed it.
Well, right now, Shivani, my question is that will they restore the status quo of the state and, withdraw the central rules?
Yes, they've said so. The central government has been categorical on it, that statehood will be returned.
Well, let's see. Let's see if they'll walk the talk.
Okay, GVL, quickly, then I have to go to our other guests.
No, first, she doesn't answer the question whether abrogation of Article 370, whether they support this idea. This is a reality today. Whether they support it, they have boycotted. They have never supported this in Parliament. What is their stand today? They are still
We are
there. You cannot run away
Shivani.
giving this kind of confused replies. The Congress, we have already made a commitment at the time of passage of bill that we will bring it back at an appropriate time. The Congress has committed this sin. Congress has stated repeatedly that this is abrogation cannot be done because this so-called so-called alignment with India was on the condition that Jammu Kashmir will continue to exist, will continue to have a separate status. What is your stand on this?
Okay.
The
All right.
Congress party today stands for everything anti-national.
Okay, let me
You
go first
blame
to our
Indian
other
armed
guests as
forces.
well. Let me
You
go first to our
stand
other
with
guests as
China.
well. Let me just understand from them whether this message will work or not. Mahima, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. I have limited time. Surendra Chauhan, you know, the Bharat Jodo and its message aside, it's not frankly a new message. The Congress has been saying exactly this. Attacks over RSS, over BJP, their divisive policy, religious agenda, etc. None of that is new. We've all heard this before. But will this help them electorally is the question I'm asking today. Bharat Jodo Yatra aside, its impact aside, its popularity aside, what is the new, what is the new offering from the Congress party? Is it offering an alternative today? Is it in the race to be an alternative to the BJP at the national level today? In fact, regional parties are sweeping the rug from under the feet of the Congress party election after election. Mr. Chauhan, did you hear that?
Sorry?
That question was for you, sir. You want to respond?
Hello, I couldn't hear that.
Okay,
Can
Karan,
just-
if you heard my
Hello?
question, please respond.
You know, Shivani, I just heard the Congress spokesperson speak and she blamed the media, the judiciary, the propaganda, the narrative. You know, there's a share for this. ताउम्र यही गलती करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी, आईना साफ करता रहा. The Congress can look for all excuses, but look within for its debacle after debacle electorally. And its debacle is happening because of the rot within for people like Mani put in the mouth Shankar Aiyar. That is what this person is. Time and again, he's gone to Pakistan and said, "आप मदद करिए Prime Minister Modi को हटाने के लिए." What an anti-national statement to make. He has called the Prime Minister Neech. And which RSS are they criticizing? The same RSS that was welcomed by Pandit Nehru on Republic Day, applauding their efforts during the war with China. Or are they criticizing the RSS that worked day and night for the integration of Goa with the state of India? Are they criticizing RSS which time and again worked when rangers from Pakistan's side tried to invade Kashmir? The fact of the matter is RSS with its 12,000 plus schools, 80,000 plus shakhas and educating more than 35 lakh people are working towards Akhand Bharat. If there is one party that has done Tukde Tukde of Bharat, it is the Congress party. Time and again, whether it was the continuance of Article 370, which was a big tool for suppression of Gorkhas, Dalits, untouchables. They should be ashamed today that Digvijay Singh said, "We will restore Article 370. Can you imagine? The same tool that was used to suppress generations and generations, Digvijay Singh talked about bringing it back. I think the Congress is in no position to sermonize anyone. And Bharat Jodo Yatra, who are the people who've been a part of the Bharat Jodo Yatra? George Punaiya, the same priest who only preached hatred against Hinduism. Kanhaiya Kumar is a poster boy. The same Kanhaiya Kumar who says Bharat Tere Tukde Honge, Inshallah, Inshallah. Is this the Bharat Jodo that they are talking about? And to have the temerity to call out names to the RSS shows the hypocrisy of the Congress, which is exposed time and again. And Mani Shankar Aiyar, जैसे अगर लोग हैं कांग्रेस में, I think BJP will keep smiling. DVL Saab would be very happy every time Mani Shankar Aiyar opens his mouth because he knows BJP's tally is bound to go notches above.
Surendra Chauhan is back with us. Surendra Chauhan, the question I was asking you was, is the demonizing of the RSS going to work for the Congress party? They've tried it for the last 8 years. And alleging that BJP is divisive, that is also an allegation that has not worked in the last 8 years. So what is the new formula that the Congress is offering to become an alternative for the public?
Well, it is working, and the fact of the matter is that the RSS is wholly responsible in bringing Hindu-Muslim in the nation from last almost 8 years continuously. Because the gentleman was saying Akhand Bharat is the logo of motto of RSS, then Akhand Bharat without the other people, Muslims, Sikhs, Isai, or it has to be a secular country. You see,
Sir,
we have the.
Hindu
Why
is a
can't the
cultural
RSS
phenomena.
come out
It
of this?
encompasses all of them. It encompasses all
Come
of
out
them,
of
sir.
this that ours is a secular nation. Without
Of course.
upholding the ethos of secularism, we cannot progress.
Okay,
And
so
Bharat
can I
Jodo
ask you,
Yatra is
Surendra ji,
only a
exactly
step.
what damage to quote
Yes.
unquote secularism has happened by any government policy in the last 8 years? Please give me an example.
It is not the policy. There is no policy as such because the unemployment is on the rise. And
उससे
in Delhi
secularism
also,
का
in
क्या
Delhi
लेना
we have
देना है?
never seen. I am a
No, no,
pure
Shivani,
Delhi.
I will answer this.
One second, one
minute.
by one.
I'm
Let him
coming
have his
back.
opportunity.
In Delhi, I have never seen any kind of any kind of nuisance created by the people of RSS where Hindu Muslim this thing fight was there.
Okay.
In
So you
Delhi.
are
We have
saying
never
on
seen. In
ground,
last
they
53, I
are
have
just
never
doing
heard that
Hindu-Muslim,
Delhi
they are
rioting
dividing
is
the
taking
country on
place.
religious lines.
Rioting is taking place between Hindu and Muslim.
Okay,
We
okay.
see
GVL wants to
Hindu
respond. Yes,
Delhi,
GVL.
Shivani, can I
I
Karan,
respond?
one
living
second. Let GVL
peacefully.
respond.
Shivani, you see, you asked the right question. In 8.5 years, there has not been a single decision, a policy, or a program where any minority, Muslim, whoever, has been discriminated against. And in fact, most of the beneficiaries of the pro-poor schemes of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government have actually benefited minorities, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes more than anybody else. In states like Uttar Pradesh, I can tell you, schemes like Ujjwala have reached every Muslim household. I think earlier governments only paid lip service. Manmohan Singh would say that the first right of nation's resources is for minorities, not for the poor. That's only vote bank politics. He
Okay.
only made those statements. In reality,
Gentlemen, what had happened in
minorities, large
Hathras?
sections of Muslims remain poor.
Hathras.
They
What
have
had happened in
experienced
Hathras in
fruits of
Uttar Pradesh?
development only from this government.
Okay. Interestingly,
You use them as a vote bank.
since you mentioned
To
that
deny
GVL, the
development
image
for
problem that the Congress has, let me play out this statement that has come from former Union Minister A.K. Antony today, where he did say that the Congress needs to win over Hindus in order to defeat the BJP. He went on to add that demonizing Hindus is not going to work for the Congress party. Listen it.
ഒരു സമുദായം ഹിന്ദുക്കളാണ് ന്യൂനപക്ഷത്തോടൊപ്പം ഹിന്ദുക്കളുടെ പുരുഷത്തെ കൂടി മോദിക്കെതിരാണ് സമരത്തിൽ കൂനിർത്താൻ സാധിക്കും. അമ്പലത്തിൽ പോയാൽ നെറ്റിയിൽ തിലകം ചാർത്തിയാൽ ചന്ദന കുളിട്ടാൽ ഓളം തന്നെ അവർ ഹിന്ദുത്വ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്ന സമീപനം ആ സമീപനം മോഡിയുടെ ഭരണം വീണ്ടും വരാൻ മാത്രമേ സഹായിക്കൂ.
Mahima, I'm coming to you with this. Here's your own minister who, of course, in 2014, 2019 has talked about how the Congress party has a perception problem. People do not believe in its equal justice claim. It has lost its popularity amongst the majority of the country who felt you appeased the minorities at the cost of the Hindus of this land. And he's saying today that, you know, every tilakdhari Hindu cannot be demonized as Hindutvavadi. This is something that's not going for you. This is actually helping Narendra Modi.
Yeah, I think that's another side of the story, Shivani, but whatever I was hearing here, Tukde Tukde is their all-time favorite and they want to hide behind it. However, in the parliament, on the floor of the parliament, the very government of the day had said we don't have any data on Tukde Tukde gang and, their narrative fell flat on the face. Apart from that, Ram Setu is another such jumla that they have used against the people of this country. And now they say, oh, we don't have any data on Ram Setu also. Apart from that, Ujjwala, he was mentioning, it's a farce that they have played on the women of this country. I have been traveling with the Bharat Jodo Yatra and women after women, in village after village, they talk about how they are sitting on the cylinders that were given to them by the government. The reality of the ground is very different. The popularity they were talking about. On one hand, they talk about Kanhaiya. Have they gone on the ground and seen? I have traveled with Kanhaiya along with the Yatra. Shivani, I can't tell you how people go mad meeting him. You know, they talk.
He lost by a record margin in an election. Mahima.
3.5 lakh votes, just to put it on record.
Shivani, the fact that Pragya Thakur and Parvesh Verma are out and Umar Khalid is inside the prison. A lot of Supreme Court lawyers, my colleagues, actually condemn that. It is actually a sheer mockery of the system that we have today.
No, but you didn't answer my question. When is the Congress party going to look within? Your own leader is reminding you that you have lost the faith of the majority community in India. The Congress has ended up not just, not fulfilling their equal justice promise, which I believe you stand for, but you have not implemented it. The public doesn't believe in you anymore. What are you doing on that front?
I will disagree. I strongly disagree. And we don't need certificates of introspection, especially from the BJP.
But this is A.K. Antony, your leader, who's saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I already said that's another side of the picture. And maybe where he's speaking, since this is an excerpt of his speech, and I will not be able to comment on that without looking at the whole picture. Yeah, I think it will be inapt to actually comment on it without.
Okay, GVL, final comments. 30 seconds to all of our other guests. GVL first.
They are in the habit of singling out. Okay. They're in the habit of singling out excerpts from speech.
No, but this is not the first time he said it, Mahima. He has said it in his reports post-general election debacles for the Congress party. This is in writing from him earlier. Fine, you may allege that this is a single quote that we have taken out. Actually, we had a 1.5-minute statement of his. For time paucity only, I've played a shorter version. But I think his import is quite clear. Let's not shoot the messenger all the time. This is becoming a problem of the Congress party. Yes, GVL. GVL.
You see, good sense has not prevailed in the Congress party for a very, very long time. And like you said, Mr. Anthony had put out this message repeatedly after every defeat. Congress would like to blame the voters. Now they have started blaming the judiciary also. They will blame the system, but they will never look within. The Congress party has to understand India has changed. The new India expects Congress party or any party to perform and not simply indulge in suit and scoot politics. Okay. Rahul Gandhi has run away from reality. He thinks he can use media or his ecosystem to simply mouth a few silly lines and expect the whole world to believe the words that he speaks through his ecosystem.
Okay,
India has changed.
Limited time.
India has more information today. The young people of India are voting for a change. They are voting for development.
Okay.
They are voting for Modi's vision of India,
Shivani,
not Rahul Gandhi. They have completely negated Rahul Gandhi's vision
a single
of
policy of the last 8 years, which was communal in nature. But I can point out a bill that they were about to bring had they come in power in 2014. It was the communal violence bill, which would have been the single most communal bill in the history of independent India, where if any riot would have happened, the onus would have been on the majority. The majority would have been considered guilty, and it would have been on them to prove their innocence.
Okay.
The party that created the word saffron terror, Hindu terror, I think they have no business talking about unity. They are the Tukde party, the official Tukde party of India.
I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. We'll see whether this message works or not. Really, ultimately, it has to be tested when the public goes out to vote for you, whether they're buying this message or not. Moving on, another horrific case of a woman being brutally murdered at the hands of a jilted man has come to light. This time from Chhattisgarh. A young woman was stabbed 50 times with a screwdriver as a man named Shadab killed her for refusing to talk to him. Since the two belonged to different communities, allegations and fears of love jihad are also being raised over this case.
था एक लड़का मतलब परेशान करता था सिस्ती बस में, पहले कंडक्टर करता था, फिर बाहर काम करने चला गया।
Then we go across to former chief of the NCW, the National Commission for Women, Lalita Kumara Mangalam is joining us. And Lalita ji, the first fear or the concern that is coming to light after several such cases where young men are killing young women if they don't continue their relationship with them or refuse their advances. There was recently an acid attack that was reported from the national capital. You know, these and the brutality of these crimes, women being chopped into pieces, being stabbed 50 times. Is this not a concern? I mean, where is the younger generation in the country going?
It's not just a concern. And, you know, it's not just the brutality, it's also the sheer shamelessness and the lack of fear amongst the men who do this.
Yeah.
A combination of you know, such deep-rooted patriarchy and the sense of entitlement that men in this country seem to have, that they have totally objectified women. It's like as if women are only there to serve men. And that if they have the guts to say that, no, we have a right to our own choice, and we'd like to make that choice, immediately they're, I mean, you know, they're just murdered in whatever way they can, the more violent the possible. I think, you know, most of our youth, or not most, but a large part of the young men in India really need some psychological counseling for them to understand that you can't just go around killing people because, or killing young girls or women just because they don't want to like you, or they don't want to talk to you, or they don't want to have you in their lives. But who is to do it? Who's to bell the cat? You know, for everything we blame politicians and the media and other people at large. But what happens? What about the families who produce these young men? There are millions of wonderful men in this country. But even if the minority behaves the way these people do, and this is across the board, across countries, across religions, I mean, across states, religions, political parties, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all the rest of it. I'm sorry to use the word blah, but this is happening every week. I'm on a show 3 times where 3 different incidents like this happen.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. It's also extremely disappointing, because think of the image that India is projecting now to the world. We harass foreign tourists, we chop up our girls, we stab them 40 or 50 times, we push them in front of a running train. I mean, where and when and how is it going to stop? I think all Indian
there are issues of law and order that have been raised by the opposition, particularly in this case in the state of Chhattisgarh. I've got Congress representative Lokesh Jindal joining us. Lokesh ji, sometimes there is a feeling that comes in from, you know, from Jharkhand, for example, where a similar case came to light, where a woman was brutally chopped into multiple pieces just this month. And then this case from Chhattisgarh, that the state governments are almost, you know, not reacting to these cases. They're brushing them under the carpet. There was a similar case in Jharkhand a couple of months ago, if I'm right. And the chief minister just said, for example, that, you know, these things keep happening. Now, that cannot be the mindset of the state leadership that is in power. Lokesh Jindal.
Yes, good evening. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes.
Yes. See, first of all, let me make certain points clear, whether it is the current issue that we are discussing, or it is Shraddha Walkar in Delhi, or any other case. Over here, there is one point that is required to be emphasized, is upon gender sensitivity, gender sensitization, and rather than looking it from a political perspective, I would want to be looked at from various perspectives, from social, from the cultural, legal, all these spheres are to be looked at.
But the way that the state reacts, the way that the police reacts is what, you know, sends a message to the larger community. Has the government done that in Chhattisgarh?
The police has a standard operating procedure. There is a proper procedure that has been established by law, and the police and the agencies, they are following those procedures. If there is any lapse in that procedure, the inquiry would be taken and an action would be taken. That would amount to dereliction of duty. So over here, you cannot put the blame on the police in this particular incident or any incident. The point, the issue lies in the nature of society that we are evolving into. It is important for us to become more and more sensitive and understand why is there such forms of narcissist, such forms of extremist form of radical violence that is taking place in the society.
So why do you think it is happening?
It's because of the lack of gender sensitivity. I mean, what has happened is, over a period of time, women are being seen as some form of a means. with respect to the mutual gender sensitivity, respect, mutual respect, and the place in the society. That entire bond, that ethos, and that morality has taken a hit with the changing times. So there has been, I mean, today we are living in an era of social media whereby all form of contents are available, OTT platforms and all, which are not regulated. A lot of violence is there that an individual looks into, and the mind gets polluted, and such forms of heinous acts are given effect to.
I actually
So it
discussed
is
exactly
required.
this, I think a couple of days ago. We've got the CIC Uday Mohurkar, who has started a campaign of Save Culture, Save Nation, and he discussed exactly this, that the amount of explicit content available to young kids today, he believes is spawning more of these crimes, especially very brutal, very barbaric crimes that are taking place. But I'll come to that in just a bit. Ratan Sharda is also with us, author and researcher of the RSS. Ratan Sharda, there are always fears of love jihad, quote unquote, raised when such cases come to light. There are similar such cases where there are the girl is from a different community, the man and the killer is from a different community, that have come to light just this month from various states post the Shraddha Walkar case. Today, there is a group of women that have met the Maharashtra Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister demanding a law against love jihad. Do you believe that it is fair to see these cases from the prism of love jihad, or are they to be treated just as any other crime? Because crimes against women are happening from all sections.
See, Shivani, there are two angles on which I agree. One angle is the crime because of explicit content on the net, which is available very easily to the children also, and there is no control. I was talking to a social worker and a lady who had done a lot of research for a TV series, etc. She said you pick up a phone of any person who has done this kind of heinous crime, will invariably find pornographic content there. That is one which is common to all. Now, secondly, to simply deny love jihad, when you in last 1 month there are 4 cases which are all from a particular community where the end has been very cruel. And if you look at the other names, for example, in last few months there was Naina, Ankita, Nikita, Kushi, Shraddha, Rabita, Uma, Urvashi. How many names? So if you look at the percentage of population and see the crime in a reverse direction, and there has to be something specifically mind bending to such people, that when large number of people beyond their percentage of the population end up with these kinds of sex crimes, there has to be some motivation being put in by some people, brainwash them into believing this is what will take them to better life in the next life. So we have to look at that also. We cannot deny when you change name, you pick up a girl with the change name, or you have that girl picked up because he refused you, rape and kill the girl, you kidnap the girl. These are too many to be avoided.
Okay.
We can look into the face, and you may call me communal, but if you look at the ratio of population vis-a-vis the ratio in the crime, there is certainly something wrong with the community, or something wrong with the people who lead them and brainwash them into believing that what they are doing is something good.
Lokesh is objecting to that. Yes, Lokesh.
He can object. I have no problem with
Okay,
that
but
objecting.
let him
But I
come
am
in.
saying, look at the cold statistics. Look at the
when
cold
I'm-
statistics.
I understand the statistics, but statistics also are required to be inferred in the right light. See, the social and economic strata of a particular or the social and economic background of an individual is responsible for the cultural impression or the attitude that person develops throughout the adolescence. A lot of education has an important role. Social
What
circle
about
has an
this
important
guy,
role.
Poonawala? He was not from a not so
Exactly.
well-to-do background.
But the point is, the police has rightly found out the kind of content that he was watching on the OTT platform was responsible for him indulging into such form of.
I'll come to the content issue, but you said you have to
Come to
look
the
at the
statistics, no.
socio-economic
See, look,
background of
Are
the
you
killer.
saying
I'm
very
sorry to
clear.
say this is the
very
it sounds like the
dangerous.
argument
Islam
Can
that
I please come in here?
yeah, once again.
I
It
have
sounds
made a
like the
study on
argument
Islam.
that only poor, uneducated become terrorists. We've seen that
Yeah,
is not the
Can I
case.
come in here, please?
Lalita
Let
Kumara
me
Mangalam.
give the another point.
Okay, once again,
Now, I
Lalita
have
Kumara
studied
Mangalam.
Islam
Yes,
as a
Lalita,
religion,
let her
and
come in, then
nowhere
I'll
is
come to you.
Islam as a
Lokesh,
religion.
let her come in. Yes, Lalita ji.
Look, I'm not saying I'm not an expert on Islam. I'm not going to give lectures on that religion. But the Talibanization of Islam has taken place over the last 20, 25 years throughout the world. It is seen very openly. It is seen in statistics. It is seen in the way people are behaving, Muslim women themselves. are, coming out openly and fighting against what is the positions, their socio-economic positions, forget the economics of it, their social cultural positions, which have been brought to such a low nadir that you find that women all over the world are protesting against this. This is not about Muslim versus Hindu. Yes, there are cases where Hindu girls are targeted, but the violence with which they are being targeted is also of equal worry. And we can't just say it's only pornography and violence that's shown on screen. It's also the fact that from childhood they are brought up not to respect girls and women and to objectify them. So it's not just one cause or the other, it's all of it. We have to look inward. Every single person in India and family and political party, etc., every religion has to look inward and see that consciously we start now, at least now with the youngest generation that we have, use
To
them as,
sensitize them.
I'm sorry to use words like use, but actually teach them from very, very young that girls and women are not meant just to be used and
as
targeted
sexual objects,
and
absolutely.
killed off anyway.
And I
they
do
want,
have,
but to
and
be
Lalita
respected.
Kumaramangalam, when I discuss this about pornography and pornographic content, explicit X-rated content available, I agree with all of you. This has a very, this has a terrible impact on young men and women
bad.
because this content is derogatory to women. It
Yes,
shows them as sexual objects. And young men and young women are not equipped to handle what real sexual relationships are like in life. They grow to have very twisted, weird expectations of sex. But I'll leave that aside. Ratan Sharda, final comment. Love jihad is something that is accused of being a Hindutva propaganda against the Muslim community in India. Although I must mention it first was raised by the Christian community in Kerala. Do you believe that it is fair to raise these alarms for every case? Is that also not going overboard?
I said, now there is this book. Okay, this book is about love jihad with proven cases. It is by Garuda publication. Go ahead and check, and then if you want to somebody like, Mr. Jindal wants to put a case against the publication, go ahead. These are all proven police cases. I am saying look at the broad statistical figures.
Muslims there?
Please look at the broad statistical figures and don't try to be apologetic about social condition. Are Hindus not poor? Why, if 80% population Muslim, such 80% cases come out of their community? Can we ever open our eyes to the elephant in the room?
Why are you
Can we ever be
religious
honest
community?
and say, yes, there is something wrong with what they are being taught? Is it difficult to say that, okay, we will check into it, see to it, what kind of education they get? Are only poor have this problem? Why other communities are not affected by this? Why this cruelty comes from a particular community? Look at the statistics. I say very simple. Don't go by what I say. Go by the statistics. Go by the number of people who have been cheated in the name of religion.
Is there a pattern emerging, and is there a need to accept that pattern? Like I mentioned today in Maharashtra, there are women who've gone to the state government.
Has used a Muslim name to convert somebody. Give me one example.
Okay. Yes, Naveen, 30 seconds only, please. 30 seconds.
Yes, see, first, if you see the Nirbhaya case, it was equally horrific.
Yeah.
But there were no Muslim people over there.
Yes.
So it's not with the religion or religious community that the problem lies.
There was one. Don't try
to deny that.
There was one.
Many. See, listen to me.
But that's not when the point. I say, don't give me exceptions.
When I'm
give
saying
me the statistics.
The society
give me the data. I'll show you one data.
Show
me more data.
Towards women, that entire attitude is what is important.
Okay.
Sir, please, sir, I have
we
a
are
lot of
on agreement on that. We are all on agreement on that. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. We'll try and take this debate forward because this is emerging as one of the most important issues in our country, especially when it comes to the crime that is increasing amongst the younger population of the country. Moving on to some breaking updates that are coming in. There's a stampede that has been reported at the TDP chief Chandrababu Naidu's rally in Nellore. And unfortunate news that is coming in is that at least 5 have already been declared dead. My colleague Swastika Das is joining us. Swastika, give us more details.
Well, first things first, looking at the gravity of the situation, the death toll is likely to rise, and that is something that we're picking up from the police officials itself. For now, there is 5 persons who have died in the stampede-like situation that took place at Mr. Naidu's rally. The sequence of events, what we're picking up through eyewitness accounts, is that Mr. Naidu, who was supposed to address a massive gathering at Nellore district today, this is part of his mega campaign that he has launched against Jagan Mohan Reddy government. The moment he entered the podium, that is when chaos ensued. There was complete pandemonium, and Naidu's followers were given to understand went on a rampage. And in that melee, several people, in fact, got injured because the crowd jostled against each other, and as a result of which a lot of people fell into a drain. It is a narrow road where the rally was taking place. Many people have sustained injuries. By the count of what we're picking up through police officials, at least 10 have sustained injuries, and the death toll as of now stands at 5, but that is also likely to go up.
All right. We'll keep coming back to you for more, Swastika. Thanks a lot for that update. Time for us to slip into a very short break. On the other side, we'll get you what the government is saying as far as the next expected COVID case surge in India is concerned. Stay with us.
हाँ अपनी होटल है सर्किल पर तो बाहर देखो ठंड को मौसम हो रहा है ज़्यादा मैं के कारण टरकाड़ा और बस वाला रुककर चाय पानी पीवे
थोड़ी सी फसलां में नुकसान है सुबह कोहरा छाया हुआ रहता है और हमारी फसल पर बर्फ़ सी जमी होती है सुबह सुबह फसल का बहुत ही नुकसान होता है
I'm crossing over to News 18, Sachin, who is joining us live from Manali. Sachin, आप मौसम और तापमान के बारे में और बता सकते हैं?
जी हाँ, देखिए अगर मैं बात करूं इसमें हिमाचल प्रदेश और खासकर कुल्लू मनाली के मौसम की तो यहाँ पर जो इसमें लगातार जो ठंड का प्रकोप लगातार जारी है। जिस तरह अगर मैं बात करूं अभी के तापमान की अगर मैं बात करूं मनाली के तो आज का जो न्यूनतम तापमान है वो -5 डिग्री के करीब जो है मनाली का तापमान यहाँ पर जो है दर्ज किया गया। हालांकि जिस तरह लंबे अरसे से यहाँ पर जो इस बार बर्फबारी नहीं हुई लेकिन बीते 2 दिन पहले जो मनाली के ऊपरी क्षेत्रों में जो बर्फबारी हुई थी उसके कारण जो एक घाटी में ठंड काफी ज्यादा बढ़ चुकी है और ऐसे में शुष्क ठंड इसमें काफी ज्यादा और इससे ठंड से बचने के लिए लोग यहाँ पर जो है गर्म कपड़ों सहित जो अलाव का सहारा यहाँ पर लेते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। हालांकि इस बार जो है जिस तरह की जो एक उम्मीद होती थी बर्फबारी की वो यहाँ पर नहीं होने के कारण भी इस बार जो है लगातार ठंड बढ़ती जा रही है और आने वाले दिनों में ये अंदेशा जताया जा रहा है कि यदि जल्द से जल्द घाटी में यहाँ पे बर्फबारी नहीं होती तो उससे कहीं ना कहीं और ज्यादा ठंड यहाँ पर जो है बढ़ सकती है। इसके साथ ही अगर मैं बात करूं हिमाचल प्रदेश की जो जिला लाहौल स्पीति है जिसे जो है कोल्ड रेगिस्तान के नाम से भी जाना जाता है वहां पर भी जो है तापमान जो है -15 डिग्री के करीब जो वहां पर जो पहुंच चुका और इसके साथ ही जो बहने वाले नदी नाले और झरने हैं वो भी वहां पर जो है जमने आरंभ हो चुके हैं। इसके साथ ही अगर मैं बात करूं जिस तरह जो मौसम लगातार जो यहाँ पर बिल्कुल शुष्क बना हुआ है ऐसे में सबसे ज्यादा दिक्कत जो यहाँ के जो लोग हैं बाशिंदे हैं उन्हें आ रही है क्योंकि शुष्क ठंड के चलते जो लोग यहाँ पर जो है सर्दी जुकाम की जो काफी शिकायतें आ रही है और जो खासकर यहाँ के जो अस्पताल है वहां पर जो मरीजों की जो काफी ज्यादा लंबी लाइनें देखने को मिल रही है और इसके साथ ही जिस तरह जो न्यू ईयर भी है और ऐसे में न्यू ईयर को लेकर जो काफी सारे पर्यटक जो है कुल्लू मनाली का रुख कर रहे हैं और ऐसे में सभी को उम्मीद है कि जल्द से जल्द जो घाटी में बर्फबारी हो लेकिन जिस तरह मौसम बिल्कुल शुष्क बना हुआ है तो ऐसे में कहीं ना कहीं उन्हें भी कुछ निराशा है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी जो दिक्कत यहाँ पे आ रही है वो जो है इस ठंड के कारण जो है सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत ये है कि इससे जो है जिसे हिमाचल जो फलों के लिए भी जाना जाता है खासकर सेब के लिए तो उस सेब की फसल पर भी जो है इसका यहाँ पर जो असर साफ देखा जा रहा है क्योंकि बर्फ ना होने के कारण जो है चीलिंग आवर जो होते हैं सेब के लिए वो जो यहाँ पर पूरे नहीं हो पा रहे हैं वो भी एक सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत। और यदि इस बार जो है बर्फबारी यदि कम मात्रा में होती तो इसका सीधा असर जो आगे आने वाले गर्मियों के दिनों में जो देखने को मिलेगा क्योंकि जितनी कम बर्फबारी जो है पहाड़ों पर होगी उससे जो है पानी का संकट भी यहाँ पर जो है खड़ा हो सकता है। ऐसे में सभी ये उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द जो है बर्फबारी हो और उसके जो है यहाँ के जो यहाँ की जो टूरिज्म है उसके साथ जो यहाँ की फसलें हैं उसे उसका जो फायदा जो है इन चीजों को भी यहाँ पर जो मिल सके। लेकिन बात में अभी ठंड की भी करूं तो ठंड का जो है लगातार कहर यहाँ पे जारी है। सुबह और शाम के समय जो है तापमान में खासी गिरावट यहाँ पर देखी जा रही है। हालांकि दोपहर के समय जो मौसम साफ है जिस तरह आप मेरे पीछे ठीक तस्वीरों में देखते हैं इसमें कि मौसम बिल्कुल साफ है और धूप जो पहाड़ों में खिल चुकी है तो आप इससे अंदेशा लगा सकते हैं कि इस तरह जो मौसम यहाँ पे चल रहा है दोपहर के समय जो तापमान में जो बढ़ोतरी बेशक यहाँ पे देखी जा रही है तो दोपहर का जो तापमान है वो 15 से 20 डिग्री के करीब जो यहाँ पे पहुंच रहा है लेकिन जो सुबह और शाम का तापमान है उसमें जो है यहाँ पर खासी गिरावट देखी जा रही है। और मनाली में जिस तरह मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि मनाली में 5 डिग्री का जो है आज का न्यूनतम तापमान जो यहाँ पर जो अभी का दर्ज किया गया और इसके साथ ही लाहौल स्पीति में -15 से 20 डिग्री का तापमान वो जो है वहां पर जो दर्ज किया गया। तो इससे आप अंदेशा लगा सकते हैं कि किस तरह सुबह और शाम के समय जो किस तरह जो यहाँ पर जो लगातार जो ठंड पड़ती जा रही है। जी
सचिन जी शुक्रिया हमें वो डिटेल्स देने के लिए और वो विजुअल्स दिखाने के लिए. I'm also going to be crossing over to Shireen, to CNN News 18's Shireen Elizabeth, who's also joining us live from Delhi. Shireen, tell us where you are. Tell us about the conditions there, because what the IMD has predicted is dense to very dense fog. Tell us more about the situation around you.
Well, today it is in fact much better than what the situation in past 2 days were. There is no much fog here. You can clearly see from here where I am standing at Vijay Chowk. The Rashtrapati Bhavan is in fact visible. There is a bit of fog here. For the past 2 days, we have seen how the temperature was about 5 degree to yesterday it was 7 degree, but today right now it is about 10 degree and the sun is also out. So comparatively to the last 2 days, the situation in the national capital is much better. Though the IMD has predicted that the fog will last for about 48 hours. Today as well was supposed to be foggy, but the situation on ground looks much better though.
Welcome back. The national capital continues to shiver as minimum temperatures fell below what hill stations like Dehradun, Dharamshala and Nainital usually experience. Now, Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 5.6 degrees yesterday, which is a notch below normal, whereas Dehradun recorded 7 degrees, Dharamshala recorded 6.2 degrees, and Nainital recorded 7.2 degrees Celsius. Now, the Indian Meteorological Department has predicted cold to severe cold conditions for parts of North India over the next 2 days. The Weather Department has also said that parts of Uttarakhand, Delhi, Chandigarh, Haryana, Punjab, and western Rajasthan will continue to experience dense to very dense fog.
ठंड बहुत पड़ रही है साहब. ठंड का मान है, देखो हाथ की कांकरी हो रही है. ठंड काम भी कोई दिक्कत ठंड का मान है. बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड पड़ रही है. सुबह पावड़ जम जाए और ठंड का मान फसल भी खराब हो रही है साहब.
अपनी होटल है सर्किल पर, तो बाहर देखो ठंड को मौसम हो रहा है ज़्यादा. मैं के कारण टरकाला बस वाला रुककर चाय पानी पीवे.
थोड़ी सी फसलां में नुकसान है. सुबह कोहरा छाया हुआ रहता है और हमारी फसल पर बर्फ़ सी जमी होती है. सुबह सुबह फसल का बहुत ही नुकसान होता है.
I'm crossing over to News 18, Sachin, who is joining us live from Manali. Sachin, आप मौसम और तापमान के बारे में और बता सकते हैं?
जी हाँ, देखिए अगर मैं बात करूं इसमें हिमाचल प्रदेश और खासकर कुल्लू मनाली के मौसम की, तो यहाँ पर जो इसमें लगातार जो ठंड का प्रकोप लगातार जारी है. जिस तरह अगर मैं बात करूं अभी के तापमान की, अगर मैं बात करूं मनाली के, तो आज का जो न्यूनतम तापमान है वो -5 डिग्री के करीब जो है मनाली का तापमान यहाँ पर जो है दर्ज किया गया. हालांकि जिस तरह लंबे
Welcome back. There has been an alarm in India over COVID situation in China, especially in a scenario where blockade of flights is no longer what countries are willing to do. Several passengers coming into India are testing positive, including some that have travelled to China before. So are we in any danger? The Health Ministry has sounded an alarm, and here is what they're saying. They're saying that there is an expected surge in cases in January, which is next month, the start of the new year. The surge, though, will not lead to hospitalizations or deaths. This could be because several already have immunity via previous infections or vaccinations. But the Health Ministry sources are saying that we need to be careful till January. The next 30 days are extremely crucial for India to be very precautionary about. When cases are reported globally, generally there's a trend that trend hits India 30 days later, which is why they're making this prediction. Let's go across to a couple of experts now joining us. Rajiv Jayadevan is Vice Chairman, National IMA COVID Task Force. Dr. Kuldeep Grover is Head Critical Care and Pulmonology from CK Birla Hospital in Gurugram. Dr. Grover, I'm coming to you first up. Even though the government says that there won't be possibly the same amount of hospitalizations required if a new wave hits India, there's recently been a lot of COVID drills being conducted in various state hospitals. How prepared do you think hospitals are to deal with the next surge of cases?
So we are expecting a fourth wave in coming month or so. So this wave, as we are expecting in third wave as well, cases will be more, hospitalization would be of mild cases, severity would be less. So as far as mild cases are concerned, maximum would be outpatients only. Hospitalization would be the patients only who will be unvaccinated and they would be having less kind of immunity. So as far as hospitalization is concerned, hospitalization would be low, because we are admitting on the criteria of severity of illness. If a patient is having severe symptoms and he is requiring hospitalization, then only we are admitting those patients. And maximum patients have attained their immunity, as you have told us. So maximum will be of mild kind of illness and can be managed on outpatient basis as well.
Okay. I do mention here that the variant that is being linked to the surge in China has been prevalent in India in as many as 20 countries. It has not so far been linked with any rise in cases. Rajiv Jayadevan, I want to come to you. What do you make of the, if I can use the term, the predictions that the Health Ministry is making? What do you make of them?
Yes, we must remember that COVID-19 is a cyclical disease. It affects different countries in different ways. For example, France had 5 waves, Japan had 3. India is 10 months out of its last major wave. So that's a long time to be free from a COVID wave. Agreed that what we are facing now are Omicron sub-lineages. As Dr. Grover said, these cause relatively mild disease, particularly so among vaccinated people. I must also add a word of caution here that we do see occasional fatal or serious outcomes among unvaccinated people who get this particular so-called mild variant. So that being said, let's look at the forecast now. It's extremely difficult to make an accurate prediction as to what will happen next, particularly with the pandemic. But with a long time since the last wave, with the World Health Organization's latest epidemiological update published, it's in public domain, it shows the countries that are having increasing cases, increasing deaths in orange, and you can see a belt on the eastern horizon next to India. And north of India, we know what is happening. That is in China. 1.4 billion people are suddenly being exposed to the virus. So it is always a good thing to remain cautious. This does not mean spreading panic. It is about being aware of a potential problem that could come. And if cases rise, then we can step up our measures accordingly.
Yeah.
Right now, precautionary measures are needed.
So what does that mean for the average citizen? Rajiv Jayadevan, very quickly before I take a final word with Dr. Grover, what are you advising the public? Because you've got holiday season, a lot of people mingling, going to parties. I'm not sure if masking is going to be on the top of their heads.
Absolutely. It's difficult to do masking in close social gatherings among friends. But that being said, people with vulnerabilities, for example, if they're older individuals or people living with older people, people who have compromised immune systems or severe comorbid conditions are advised to take extra caution because they do not want to take ill at this time. Right now, hospital loads are low. As Dr. Grover said, right now India is going through a what is called a low tide phase of the pandemic, and we hope it stays this way. We just want to be cautious, that's all.
Right. And Dr. Grover, I believe the central message that is also coming to light over the last 2 weeks when we've been discussing COVID rise in China is that if you haven't taken your booster, then that becomes a priority right now.
Yeah. Priority of taking a booster is very important, even if we are vaccinated with both kind of vaccine as well, because whatever cases, they are mild. So severity, if it is less, and virulence, so as the severity is more and virulence is less, it is major contribution of vaccine as well. If we are vaccinated, we have more and more antibodies into our system. And if we are keep boosting ourselves, these antibodies are having short life of history. So if we are boosting ourselves, our body will be having immune cells. They will be having more and more amount of antibodies. If we are getting an infection anywhere, so we can deal with any kind of new infection. This antibody can prevent that severe infections as well.
So the message clearly is that especially if you're vulnerable in the aged section or you have comorbid situations, then you are at greater risk. So take care of yourself. If you can, mask up, avoid social gatherings and take your booster shot as well. I do thank our experts for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on Brass Tacks. My colleague Ayushman is joining you with News Epicenter.
Hello and welcome to News Epicenter with me, Ayushman Singh Jamal. We are back here again, ladies and gentlemen, where the death of a young and rising artist is once again mired in controversy. which once again poses big questions not just over the circumstances surrounding Tunisha Sharma's death, but also the world we live in today. Tunisha was just 20 years old and was found dead on the sets of her TV show Ali Baba on Saturday. A day later, her ex-boyfriend and co-star from the show Shazan Khan was arrested on charges of abetment to suicide. He was then sent to police custody for 4 days, which ended today, but the court has extended his custody till the 30th of December. Now, as per the FIR, Tunisha's mother has claimed that her daughter was in love with Shazan and was upset over their breakup. Her mother further claimed that Tunisha had panic attacks due to the end of the relationship. She even says Shazan was involved with another woman and used her daughter for 3 to 4 months. Shazan and Tunisha broke up 15 days before her death. The police is also analysing WhatsApp chats between the two, adding that they have recovered chats of around 250 to 300 pages from June to December this year to try and understand why the two parted ways. They are also looking into communications between Shazan and other women to see if there are any links to Tunisha's death. Shazan was grilled for 7 hours on Tuesday and claims his family did not approve of their relationship, but sources suggest he is repeatedly changing his statement. Now, these are the facts of the cases as they stand, and just hours after Tunisha's death, many members of the political class jumped in to claim love jihad. But now Tunisha's relative has made the same claim. Pawan Sharma claims that Tunisha had changed after meeting Shazan and even started wearing a hijab. Now, from the shocking Shraddha Walkar murder case to now Tunisha, the love jihad angle has emerged once again. Given the gaps of information we have, the war of conjecture has started once again, ladies and gentlemen, but this poses a few questions. Was Tunisha in a